The rain fell heavily as 6 black SUVs raced through the empty streets of Seoul. Inside the first car, Kim Taehyung sat silently. His eyes never left the photograph of Han Min-jun. 3 years, 3 years of searching. Tonight, it would finally end. "Boss," Jin-woo said, "our men have surrounded the warehouse." Taehyung nodded. "No one shoots unless I give the order." "Understood." At the Kim mansion, Jungkook couldn't sleep. For some reason, his heart felt uneasy. He walked into the hallway and saw bodyguards running outside. Mrs. Choi hurried past her. "Mrs. Choi, what's happening?" The older woman hesitated. "The boss found someone." Jungkook's face turned pale. "My brother?" Jungkook's heart began to race. Without thinking, he ran outside. The guard shouted, but he had already climbed into a car. "I know where they're going. Take me there." The driver looked uncertain. "I can't. This is an order." After a moment, he started the engine. An hour later, the warehouse stood in complete silence. Rain poured through the broken roof. Taehyung slowly walked inside. His footsteps echoed through the darkness. "Han Min-jun." A man stepped out from the shadows. He looked older, tired. His face was covered with bruises. "So, you finally found me?" Taehyung's eyes burned with anger. "You should have stayed hidden." Han Min-jun gave a bitter smile. "I was tired of running." Taehyung pointed his gun directly at him. "Do you know how many nights my sister cried because of you?" Min-jun lowered his head. "I know." "You know?" Taehyung's voice echoed through the warehouse. "You ruined her life. You ruined my family. You made me destroy an innocent man's life." "I know," Min-jun shouted back, "and I've hated myself every single day." Before Taehyung could speak again, the warehouse doors suddenly opened. "Stop!" Everyone turned. Jungkook stood there, breathing heavily. Rain had soaked his clothes. He looked from Taehyung to her brother. Tears filled his eyes. "Oppa." For the first time in 3 years, brother and brother stood face to face. Min-jun slowly walked toward him. "Jungkook." He stepped back. "No. You don't get to smile at me. You left us. You left Grandma. You left me to carry everything." His voice trembled. "Do you know how many nights Grandma waited by the window? Do you know how many jobs I worked just to pay your debts?" Min-jun couldn't meet his eyes. "I'm sorry." "No." He shook his head. "Sorry isn't enough. You destroyed 2 families." Silence filled the warehouse. Even Taehyung lowered his gun slightly. He had expected Jungkook to protect her brother. Instead, he stood against him. Min-jun closed his eyes. "I never wanted any of this." "Then tell us the truth," Jungkook whispered. He took a deep breath. "I love Jiyeon." Taehyung frowned. "What game are you playing?" "I'm telling the truth. I loved her." "Then why did you leave?" Min-jun looked directly at Taehyung. "Because someone wanted your family's confidential files. They kidnapped Jungkook. They threatened to kill him. They said if I didn't steal the files, my little brother would die." Jungkook's eyes widened. "What?" "I thought if I stole the files and disappeared, they would leave you alone." Tears rolled down his face, but they lied. They kept chasing all of us. The warehouse fell silent. Jin-woo looked shocked. "Boss, we never found this in our investigation." Taehyung stared at Min-jun. "If that's true, who was behind it?" Before Min-jun could answer, a gunshot echoed. Bang! A bullet struck Min-jun in the chest. Jungkook screamed, "Appa!" Everyone turned toward the upper floor. Several masked gunmen appeared. One of them laughed. "No one leaves alive!" Bullets rained down across the warehouse. Taehyung grabbed Jungkook and pulled him behind a concrete pillar. "Stay down." The warehouse exploded into chaos as Jungkook cried beside her injured brother. Taehyung drew his gun. His eyes became colder than ever before. "They touched my husband." His voice was low, deadly. They've just declared war. Gunfire echoed through the abandoned warehouse. Bang, bang, bang. Taehyung stood in front of Jungkook, shielding him with his body. "Don't move," he ordered. Jungkook nodded, his hands shaking. A few meters away, Han Min-jun lay on the cold floor, struggling to breathe. Blood spread beneath him. "Boss!" Jinwoo shouted. "There are too many of them." Taehyung calmly reloaded his gun. "Push them back." "Yes, boss." His men rushed forward, exchanging fire with the masked attackers. The warehouse filled with smoke and dust. One of the gunmen quietly slipped behind the broken walls. His eyes locked onto Jungkook. He raised his pistol. Taehyung noticed the movement at the last second. "Jungkook!" He pulled him toward him. Bang! The bullet missed him by inches and shattered a concrete pillar. Without hesitation, Taehyung fired back. The gunman fell to the ground. Jungkook stared at him in shock. "You saved me again." Taehyung didn't answer. His eyes searched every corner of the warehouse. As long as he was beside him, he couldn't afford to lose focus. Minutes later, the remaining attackers fled. Police sirens echoed in the distance. Jinwoo approached. "Boss?" "They escaped." Taehyung looked around. "Find them." "I don't care how long it takes. They don't get a second chance." "Understood." Jungkook hurried to her brother. "Appa," Min-jun smiled weakly. "I guess I wasn't meant to have a happy ending." "Don't say that." He held his hand tightly. "An ambulance is coming." "You'll be okay." Min-jun slowly shook his head. "No." He looked at Taehyung. "I owe you the truth." Taehyung remained silent. "The files I stole, I never sold them. I hide them. I knew the people behind everything couldn't be trusted." He struggled to breathe. "They wanted to destroy the Kim family. They only used me." Jinwoo frowned. "Who are they?" Min-jun whispered a single name. "The Black Dragon Syndicate. They're planning something much bigger." Before anyone could ask another question, Min-jun lost consciousness. The ambulance finally arrived. Doctors quickly took him away. Late that night, the mansion was unusually quiet. Jungkook stood alone on the balcony. The rain had stopped, but his heart still felt heavy. She heard footsteps behind him. It was Taehyung. For a few moments, neither of them spoke. Finally, Jungkook broke the silence. "You could have let me die today." Taehyung looked at the city lights. "I couldn't." "Why?" He answered honestly. "Because losing you scares me." Jungkook slowly turned toward him. It was the first time he had admitted something so personal. "You hated me." "I did. And now?" Taehyung smiled sadly. "I don't know when it changed. I kept telling myself you were only my revenge. But every time you were in danger, my heart made the choice before my mind could." Jungkook's eyes filled with tears. "You've protected me. You've taken care of my grandmother. You never let anyone hurt me." He took a slow step closer. "But you also took away my freedom." Taehyung lowered his head. "I know. For that, I'm sorry." Jungkook froze. The proud Mafia king had apologized. It was only one sentence, but he knew how difficult it had been for him to say. The next morning, Jinwoo entered Taehyung's office. "Boss? We found the hidden files." Taehyung looked up. "They prove the Black Dragon Syndicate has been planning to attack your organization for years." Jinwoo placed another photograph on the desk. "There is one more problem." Taehyung picked it up. His expression changed instantly. The photo showed Jungkook leaving a flower shop earlier that morning. A red circle had been drawn around his face. Below it was a handwritten message. "Next target, the Mafia King's husband." Taehyung's eyes turned ice cold. He crushed the photograph in his hand. "They're not coming after my empire anymore. They're coming after him." At that very moment, Jungkook walked out of the flower shop carrying fresh flowers for her grandmother. He smiled politely at the shop owner. He had no idea. A black van had quietly stopped across the street. Two masked men stepped out. One of them whispered, "Take him alive." As Jungkook turned the corner, a hand suddenly covered his mouth. His flowers fell onto the road. The van door slid open. He disappeared inside. By the time her bodyguards reached the street, the van was already gone. Jinwoo's phone rang. He answered. His face turned pale. He looked at Taehyung. "Boss, they've taken..." For the first time in years, everyone inside the mansion saw genuine fear in Kim Taehyung's eyes. His fists clenched. His voice was quiet, but every word carried deadly promise. They made the biggest mistake of their lives. "I'm bringing my husband home."
The Kim mansion fell into complete silence. No one dared to speak. Jinwoo stood in front of Taehyung. They abandoned the van near the harbor. No fingerprints. No witnesses. They planned everything. Taehyung slowly stood up. His face showed no emotion. But everyone in the room knew he was furious. They wanted a war. They have one. Meanwhile, Jungkook slowly opened his eyes. His head ached. He found himself tied to a chair inside an abandoned factory. Several masked men stood nearby. One of them laughed. "So this is the famous Mafia King's husband." Another man grabbed his chin. "He'll destroy his own empire to save you." Jungkook looked at him fearlessly. "If you think Taehyung will surrender, you don't know him." The men laughed. "Oh, we know exactly who he is. That's why we took the only person he can't lose." Back at the mansion, the hospital called. Han Min-jun had survived the surgery. The bullet had missed his heart. When Taehyung arrived, Min-jun was awake. He looked weak, but determined. "I know where they're hiding." Taehyung looked at him. "You expect me to trust you?" "No, but if you don't, Jungkook will die." Silence. Finally, Taehyung nodded. "Talk." Min-jun explained everything. The Black Dragon Syndicate has an old shipping warehouse near Incheon Harbor. They used it years ago. If they kidnapped Jungkook, that's where they'll take her. Taehyung looked into his eyes. For the first time, he saw no lies, only regret. "I'll save her." Min-jun whispered, "Please, bring my brother home." An hour later, more than 30 black SUVs surrounded the abandoned warehouse. Taehyung stepped out. His black suit moved with the sea breeze. Jinwoo handed him a gun. "Boss, our snipers are ready." Taehyung shook his head. "No, I'm going in first. It's dangerous." So is leaving him inside? Inside the warehouse, the gang leader smiled as he saw Taehyung enter alone. I wondered how long it would take. Taehyung's eyes searched the room. He found Jungkook tied to a chair. His face lit up. "Taehyung." He smiled faintly. "I'm here." The gang leader laughed. "Drop your gun." Taehyung did. "Now kneel." He did. Jungkook's eyes filled with tears. "No, don't." The gang leader pointed his gun at Taehyung's head. "For the great Mafia King, love made you weak." Taehyung never looked away from Jungkook. "No, it made me human." At that exact moment, bang! A sniper's bullet shattered the lights. The warehouse went dark. Jinwoo's team stormed inside. Chaos erupted. Taehyung rushed toward Jungkook. He untied his hands. "Are you hurt?" He shook his head. "I'm okay." Suddenly, the gang leader appeared behind them. He pointed his gun at Jungkook. Before he could fire, another gunshot echoed. The gang leader fell. Everyone turned. Han Min-jun stood at the entrance. He was pale from surgery, still holding the smoking gun. "I won't let anyone hurt my brother again." The police arrived seconds later. The remaining gang members surrendered. As officers handcuffed them, Min-jun walked toward Jungkook. "I'm sorry for everything. I can't erase the past, but I can finally face it." He looked at Taehyung. "I'm ready to answer for my crimes." Without running. Without hiding, Taehyung slowly nodded. Then do it. Han Min-jun surrendered to the police. For the first time in 3 years, he stopped running from the truth. 3 months later, spring had arrived in Seoul. The cherry blossoms covered the streets with soft pink flowers. Han Min-jun had confessed everything. Because he cooperated with the investigation, returned the stolen files, and helped dismantle the Black Dragon Syndicate, he received a reduced prison sentence instead of spending the rest of his life in prison. Before being taken away, he hugged Jungkook. "I'll come back as a better brother." He smiled through his tears. "I'll be waiting." Life inside the Kim mansion slowly changed. There were fewer guards, more laughter. Jian had started smiling again. Mrs. Choi often joked that the mansion finally felt like a home instead of a fortress. One evening, Taehyung asked Jungkook to meet him in the garden. The white roses were in full bloom. He walked toward him. "You wanted to see me?" He nodded. Then he placed a small key in his hand. He looked confused. "What is this?" "The front gate." He stared at him. "I don't understand." Taehyung took a deep breath. "When I married you, I stole your freedom. I thought revenge would heal my sister, but all it did was hurt another innocent person." Jungkook's eyes filled with tears. He continued, "So today, I'm giving your freedom back. If you want to leave, no one will stop you. You can go wherever you want." Silence. A gentle breeze carried cherry blossom petals between them. Taehyung smiled sadly. "I love you. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't expect you to stay. I only want your choice to be yours." He turned to walk away. 1 step, 2 steps. Then Jungkook gently took his hand. He looked back. He smiled, the first smile that reached his eyes since the day they met. "You finally gave me a choice." He nodded. "Yes. So, I'm choosing." He stepped closer. "I don't choose the man who forced me to marry him. I choose the man who stood in front of bullets for me. The man who protected my grandmother. The man who learned to say, 'I'm sorry.' And the man who finally set me free." Tears gathered in Taehyung's eyes. He laughed softly. "So, Kim Taehyung, this time, I'm staying because I want to." He pulled him into a gentle embrace. No force, no fear, only love. 6 months later, their family gathered in the same wedding hall where everything had begun. But this time, there were no threats, no revenge, no tears of fear. Jian placed a bouquet in Jungkook's hands. Mrs. Choi smiled proudly. Even Jinwoo wiped away a tear. The officiant smiled. "Jaeon Jungkook, do you choose Kim Taehyung as your husband?" He looked into Taehyung's eyes. The cold Mafia king was gone. The man standing before her was simply Taehyung. Her home, her family, her choice. "I do." Taehyung smiled, the first real smile anyone in the room had ever seen from him. "I do." As everyone applauded, cherry blossom petals drifted through the open doors. Their first wedding had been built on revenge. Their second wedding was built on love. And for the first time in years, both of them were finally free.